Hi everybody and welcome. My name is Heather Coleman, intuitive medium, clairvoyant, empath, yoga instructor, Reiki energy work practitioner. So this is such an important topic that we are talking about today of being an empath. What I have noticed over the years is that people who are drawn to a video or an article or a blog titled, "Are you an empath?" they are empaths. So if you find yourself asking, am I an empath? Yes, you are. Now, an empath is someone, so how is it defined? An empath is a person who can feel the feelings of other people as if they are their own. And at some point in the near future, we're going to have a video about being clairsentient because there is a difference, and I think each does deserve its own video. For today, I like to explain the difference as an empath is someone that will feel the emotions and maybe even the thoughts of others when they're in the room with that person. So if you're in the same room, not necessarily having a conversation, but just in the same space or maybe building, we'll say room or building, an empath would have that capability of feeling the feelings of others as if they are their own, if they're in the same space. Now, clairsentience, and this is why I don't treat these terms the same. A clairsentient can do this regardless of time, space, and distance. So not everyone is a fully developed clairsentient. And I'm going to go ahead and say that if you're new to all of this and you know that you're an empath, and we're going to get a little bit more into that, but before we do, if you know that you're an empath and this is overwhelming for you right now, just work on that empathy and managing it, recognizing it, and we're going to get into some techniques with that. Now, if you find that you're getting a good handle on that and you want to continue developing your psychic abilities, that's where maybe you would want to develop your clairsentience. Again, we'll have another video about clairsentience to help you figure out whether you are a natural clairsentient, because a lot of this can be developed. A lot of people are just strong, natural, medium psychics, just born that way. Everyone is psychic to some extent, and for a lot of people, they're born with a bit of it, and if they want to develop it, they can. So often, it's empaths getting a handle on that who say, this is great, this is a better way to live, it's helping me understand myself and others, and then they develop their clairsentient abilities. That happens a lot. But so for now, getting more into empaths. So again, an empath is defined as someone who feels the feelings of others as if they are their own. So the first thing for empaths, what I like to teach, is the ability to distinguish the difference, and there are several techniques I like to teach. The first thing I like to teach any empath is visualize your left and your right. So visualize, see if you can just make that division on your physical and mental body. Envision, 333, I just noticed that on the timer, an angel number, and felt the need to point that out to all of you. But just visualize on the left, that's where you can put what you might be receiving from others, and put on the right your own thoughts and feelings. So just visually putting that, say, I'm going to put what I'm receiving information from the outside world or from another person here, and I'm here. So a lot of times empaths are people that may have trouble setting boundaries. A lot of these things go hand in hand. A lot of empaths have been raised in some toxic environments, have had family dysfunction, have had some abusive situations, have been through trauma, but not always. But again, the reason I like to teach this technique first of receiving on the left and my own on the right, I like to teach this because it is that first step. If you're someone that's relearning how to draw boundaries, it's a great technique to incorporate. Another technique is before you go out into a situation or get together with someone or whatever, let's just say going from being alone to being in the company of others, and it could be over the phone too, or Zoom. Set the intention to say, I'm going to go into this with an awareness of what are my feelings and what are the other person's. So just setting that intention is very powerful, just bringing yourself to that awareness. Another great technique is when you leave a situation, and sometimes that means when you're getting into your car, is make some time to sit quietly and process what you're feeling. And the more you practice this, the more you'll notice that when you're taking on the feelings of others, they don't feel exactly like your own. And when empaths don't know that they're empaths, they just don't know that all of it are not their own feelings. But once you have that awareness and the more you practice this, you'll notice, for example, my son can get kind of angry and fired up. And I notice that if I'm feeling his anger as if it's my own, it's faster, it's more jump from one thing to the other. Whereas my anger tends to be sort of a slow burn, right? So that's a great example. And anger is a good example because it is a very strong, fiery emotion that's kind of hard to ignore. And the reason for that, and whether this is good or bad, it could be debated, but anger often has erupted when a lot of other feelings have gone unchecked. But that's why anger is a good one for empaths to start with. Like if you have anger, and you can feel anger, so someone else has learned to separate. Once you get good at that, then a lot of people find it easier to start working on some of those what are often called more primary or even secondary emotions, because it's often said that anger is a secondary or tertiary third emotion. So that's a great technique for empaths to get started. And finally, another great technique is to combine your shielding, which we talked about in another video. If you didn't catch it, it's shielding basics. Using your shielding techniques automatically will help you to better distinguish and to avoid that overwhelm. When you know how to shield your aura, the hope is that as an empath and or clairsentient, you're going to receive enough information that you can process what that means for you. Because I think something that people in the beginning don't realize is that these are gifts, and being an empath or a clairsentient or a clairvoyant, whatever that is, it's a gift and it's an ability for you to have maybe a deeper understanding of people, situations, or environments than a less psychic or a non-psychic in that one ability person would have. So it gives you an advantage in learning, in discernment, in better understanding situations. Because let's be honest, most people don't just put everything right out onto the surface. So it really helps you to understand the deeper inner workings of what's going on so that you can make the best decisions for yourself on what to do, on who to spend your time with, on how to spend time in certain places. Maybe just limiting certain things. When you get a good handle on your empathy and on being an empath, it may give you a perfect sense of how much time is best to spend in certain places. So I hope that this video has given you some helpful tools today. For more information and just to keep learning, subscribe to my YouTube channel, check out my website, heatherlcoleman.com, and I hope to see you in the next video.